I know that 15% of my day is going to be putting out fires for stupid people that I work for.
Start a small business, they said.
I'm totally an overnight millionaire.
You're going to be so successful, they said.
If you follow the system that I followed, you're going to have such success too.
What they didn't tell you was sometimes small business is challenging and sometimes small business sucks. I don't think multi-talented describes it. Like, she's a podcast host. She's a marketer. She used to be one of the funniest on-air talents in the market when I worked in radio many, many, many moons ago. She was one of the funniest on-air talents in radio. She frequently guested on a local morning show here, and she was awesome. Former coworker of mine, but now professional, just professional everything. Caregiver, mom, marketer. Did I get all of that? Tell us your name. Tell us the name of your business. Tell me if I hit all the numbers I'm supposed to hit in that intro.
I'm Ashleigh Mac.
No. You're Ash Mac, yo. This is, we shortened it. That's your street name. Ash Mac.
Absolutely. A-love for life. But yes, I'm Ashleigh Mac. I run bespoke marketing down here in Montgomery, Texas, which is about 45 minutes north of Houston. So big time in city with about 3,000 people.
So it's your fault. That's what we got to blame you guys for, all the Texas things. I just blame you for the Cowboys. That's what I blame Texas for.
Right. No, they're about 4 hours north, but everything's bigger in Texas did come from my ass. Absolutely.
Well, tell us a little bit more about bespoke marketing. What's the origin of the bespoke marketing concept? Why did you start into? Because when I worked with you in radio, again, many moons ago, we were much younger, sillier. I had fewer gray hairs. I know you still have none, so we're good. But I can't.
I just dyed mine.
I can't see it. Well, then don't lie to me. But when we worked in radio, I know you were kind of on the web dev and that side of the house, but you didn't really go into the marketing side as much. So tell us a little bit about bespoke marketing. Tell us about that business. Why the name? What's the mission? Fill us in on that genesis.
I decided because I had worked in radio, I had worked in television. I worked in radio for a total of maybe 12 years or so. I worked in print and American City Business Journals for a couple years as well in Charlotte. I had done graphic design. I had done web design. I had started doing social media when it came around because, yes, I'm old, but I've earned every wrinkle on my face. And but I just decided at a certain point that once I had my daughter, that I wanted to go into business for myself. I figured if I can do this for anybody, if I can do social media or build a website or, audio production or, TV commercials or anything like that for one person, then I can certainly do it for every person. So my dad was an entrepreneur. He started his own business in 1986. And it really kind of he worked on it in 1986. And then in 1987, he started his own business. So I was always raised around the entrepreneur spirit. So I kind of always said, I don't really want a boss either. And if Joe knows me, I'd never really wanted a boss, but that's kind of how it goes. We have to be all cogs in the machine at some point to get some experience and everything. But
sure. So
through radio, television, nonprofit, social media, print, everything that I've done, I decided if I can do it for one person, I can do it for every person. And I decided to delve into doing it for small and medium-sized businesses that were entrepreneurs too, and trying to get their feet off the ground. Because chances are they're great at what they do. Like if you're a plumber, if you're a CPA or whatever it is, but you probably then aren't very good at marketing. So that was kind of where I thought my niche best was, because I could give somebody a fully bespoke marketing strategy with vocabulary in radio, television, print, digital, nonprofit, for-profit, event planning, everything you could possibly imagine. I could make them a bespoke strategy to move forward with that could make them successful.
Well, see, this is a problem. You're kind of a pain in my ass right now, because the premise of the podcast is that small business sucks. And you're like, I can help all these small businesses, and this is why I started my small business. And basically everything you just said was that small business doesn't suck. So we're going to go ahead and end the podcast. And it's been been real nice knowing you. Thanks for betraying me 4 minutes in.
Right.
I hate you.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, the thing is, it really does suck because
does.
Say you are that plumber or CPA, marketing sucks, and that's part of running a business. That's, I mean, that is one element, one arm of what you have to do.
Well,
so.
And the other part of it is when you run a marketing agency, it's the old joke that the mechanic's car is always broken. The last thing you market is yourself. And so that gets pushed down the line of you have all this talent to help your clients, but you've also got to acquire new clients. But they take a back seat to paying the bills. So that's one of the sucks about being in a small marketing agency working with small to medium businesses. But we break this podcast up thematically into specific chapters. And so I want you to pick as far as like what you would tell people about your business. What is the suck? What's the thing that just keeps grinding you down every single day?
Well, for a lot of days over the last couple of years, my dad was sick for about 14 years total with prostate cancer and with different heart issues and stuff like that. So being able, but this also doesn't just translate to me like being a secondary caretaker to my mom, to my dad and stuff like that. But I mean, this comes up with being a single mom. This comes up with, running your own stuff, but like having to clean your house and do your laundry and everything like that. It's really difficult to find the time because it's finding the time. It's not taking the time because if you're just like looking for time in your day, you aren't going to find it. Like you have to take the time, you have to organize the time to be able to work on your own business. And when you do have personal things that come up, whether it's a sick kid, whether it's a sick parent or anything like that, or say something like you have a freeze, like in 2021, when I very first started my business, my house froze because it doesn't freeze down here in Texas very often. Pipes broke and everything. I had to live out of my parents' house for 9 days while they took out all the drywall, carpet, all this type of stuff. So when personal things come up, when you're in a small business, when you run your own small business and you have this entrepreneurial spirit, it's very difficult to make the time and set aside the time for your business. Or make and set aside the time for your family, for whoever you're caretaking, for your child. And just like, I literally cannot read The Very Hungry Caterpillar anymore. I can't do it anymore, baby. You're going to go to bed. And like, no, I need to get back in there and finish that website. It's so difficult to manage, to balance all of that.
So
like
in a
they
single
talk about
sentence,
how work-life
having to prioritize a lot of things that should be top priority, that sucks.
Yeah.
And that's tough. And this is a great lesson about the marketing industry as well. So that's something that you run into is what should be your top priority for the client. And I know a lot of people see this across a lot of other industries. There's 17 things to do. Your to-do list never becomes your to-done list. And that level of priority that you're giving it, that's a hard lesson to learn. So totally respect that's the suck. But now we have to get into the part where you teach us a little bit of something. And I always tell people this does not have to be groundbreaking business advice. I'm not in that sphere of podcasting. I just want something that's common sense that you use every day to help kind of mitigate the suck. So what's the thing you do to just kind of end or at least make it suck just a little bit less?
Right. I mean, the suck is perpetual. It is what it is. But like, it's always good and bad. But one thing I've done, even since like when I was in radio in my teens and everything, like I started in radio when I was 19 years old. But something I've done the entire time, whether I'm running my own agency, whether I'm in radio, TV, print, whatever it is, I book my like to-do list, as we're talking about. I book my to-do list at 85% busy.
Okay.
Because I know that 15% of my day is going to be putting out fires for stupid people that I work for or work with, or my incredibly generous and awesome clients. But
I was like, yeah, let's delineate. Stupid people you work for or with are not your clients.
Right. But yeah, I've always literally in my teens, early 20s, I said it like where I'm making my to-do list. I'm a big to-do list person. I'm very organized. I do not procrastinate. I get stuff done as soon as I get it. But if I don't get it, like if you need an ad that goes up on the radio website and it was really due yesterday, but now you told me today at 4 p.m. and I was already on the morning show, like I don't really care, but I understand too, they want to get paid. So I book my day at 85% busy. Like I know that the 6, 7, 8 things, whatever I have on my list will get me to maybe, 3 or something like that, just so I can handle any nonsense that comes up from somebody that just completely doesn't respect business hours, doesn't respect my workload, doesn't respect my bandwidth, doesn't know that I'm a single mom, doesn't know, all that type of stuff. So I can appear to be, I am, number one, more calm because I know that I have that extra time. And number two, I appear that I have everything under control all the time, which I sure as hell don't. It's okay.
It's a spinning plates act, baby. You got to spin those plates. Yeah. So I have a lot of respect for that. That's good advice is, give your schedule a little bit of padding, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe you want your schedule to look a lot bigger than it is, but you just pad your to-do list a little bit because that 15% is going to save you mentally. That makes perfect sense. Okay, well.
And in turn, it saves the client's stress level and everything too. It's like, no, I got it. No worries. Because I have put in this padding. Everybody, I realize at a certain point that I can't control if somebody comes to me last minute with something, but I can control how I handle it and how much time I have to do it. So
beautiful.
I just I'm like, what can I control? And I did that. And I've been literally doing that for, 20 years.
That makes sense. Now, the last part before we get to the closeout is how do people find you? Tell us your socials media. Tell us where they can find you in the world, the online sphere, so they can locate you and interact with your business.
Absolutely. I would love for anybody to reach out to me that is a small and medium-sized business that kind of needs some sort of strategy, something cost-effective to kind of move forward with. Like, you pretty much tell me your budget and I'll tell you what I can do for you. You can find me on my website, bespokemarketingtx.com, because I am in Texas, and everything's bigger down here, so the strategy's bigger. But on all the socials too. So. And
let's cross-promote your podcast.
Oh, heck yeah, of course. I have the Motherload podcast. It's on Apple and Spotify. And so if you want to look out for that, that's the Motherload podcast. And it's like a little yellow grocery bag or whatever, if you want to find it. It's really all about how we get along every day as single moms, as entrepreneurs, as, this kind of, new thing that's happening given how the socioeconomic fallout has been happening over the last several years. So yeah, Motherload podcast. Every Tuesday it comes out. Check it out.
Yeah, be sure to look for that on all the relevant socials media, and we'll make sure we plug that in the links in the listing on this podcast. So the suck was that you've got a lot of things to balance in life, and life sometimes happens. The lesson was, pad your schedule, give yourself about 15% of time because you don't know the next emergency and you have to spin a lot of plates. And that is why, and you have to say the last part with me, being a marketer sucks. Oh, we got to say it at the same time. We'll try that again. I'm going to put the outtake in though. We're going to leave this in. All right.
That's
so
fine. I don't
being
care.
it's the outtakes make it human. Being a small business marketer sucks.